Let's talk about something wild. What happens when a cartoon isn't just a movie, but a global force that completely rewrites the record books and shifts culture itself? Today, we're diving into K-Pop Demon Hunters, the animated film that didn't just top charts, it literally blurred the line between fiction and reality.
Okay, let's just start with a number that barely seems real. 325 million. That is how many views K-Pop Demon Hunters pulled in. This made it the most-watched original title in the entire history of Netflix. Not the most-watched animated show, the most-watched anything, period.
And this wasn't some niche, underground success, you know? As the publication Puck put it, this was, quote, the biggest hit of Hollywood's summer. Think about that for a second. A streaming movie completely dominated the cultural conversation more than any big-budget blockbuster. So how in the world did an animated film do this? How did it shatter so many real-world records? To understand the phenomenon, we've got to start by breaking down the absolutely staggering numbers. The music was just as massive as the movie. This number, 4, represents something that's literally never happened before. 4 different songs from the soundtrack were in the top 10 of the Billboard Hot 100 at the exact same time. No film soundtrack has ever done that. And its power in actual movie theaters was undeniable. Get this, when Netflix did a limited run of a sing-along version, it brought in over $19 million on opening weekend. That made it Netflix's first ever #1 movie at the box office, blowing past huge live-action films like Glass Onion. But you know, numbers only tell you so much. What was it about this story, this world of K-pop idols fighting demons, that just captured the imagination of millions of people?
Well, at its core, the premise is just a brilliant mashup. It's about a K-pop girl group called HUNTR/X. They're not just pop stars. They're secretly demon hunters protecting humanity. It's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets a reality pop star competition. It's just perfect.
So the main conflict is this classic pop rivalry, but with a supernatural twist. On one side, you've got our heroes, the girl group Hunter/X, and their rivals, the Saja Boys, a K-pop boy band whose members are, you guessed it, secretly demons trying to destroy the world.
But the real heart of the movie, the thing that gets you, comes from the main character, Rumi. She's the leader of the group, but she's hiding this huge secret. She's half demon herself, and this deep, deep shame she feels about her identity literally causes her to lose her ability to sing. Her journey to accept all the parts of herself is the powerful, emotional core of the whole film.
Of course, a great story idea is one thing, but the execution has to be flawless. So let's peel back the curtain a little bit and look at the secret sauce, the specific choices the creators made that made this film feel so incredibly authentic and high quality.
It really wasn't an accident. It was a formula. First, they brought in actual K-pop hitmakers, legends like Teddy Park, to do the music. Then they hired the best of the best choreographers, from studios like Jam Republic. The animation team focused on getting the cultural details just right, and the story itself took inspiration from masters of genre bending like Bong Joon-ho. Every piece was deliberate. And that authenticity came from a really personal place. The director, Maggie Kang, called the film her love letter to K-pop and to my Korean background. And you can just feel that passion and that love in every single frame.
You want to know how deep that commitment went? This is an incredible detail. Even though the movie's primary language is English, the animators designed the characters' mouths to use shapes that are specific to the Korean language. It's this tiny, almost hidden detail that just shows the unbelievable level of care they put into this.
So we have the record-smashing numbers, we have the meticulous production, but what really elevated this into a true phenomenon was what it all meant. Let's dig into the deep themes that created such a profound emotional connection with people all over the world.
Right away, tons of viewers and critics saw Rumi's story as this powerful allegory. As Taylor Henderson wrote for Out magazine, her struggle to hide her demon side and the shame that came from it felt, quote, quite queer-coded.
And for anyone who's not familiar with that term, a queer allegory is basically a story that isn't explicitly about LGBTQ+ experiences, but its themes, hiding who you are, the fear of rejection, the process of coming out, can be interpreted in that way, and it resonates deeply. And here's the thing, this was not just a fan theory. The director, Maggie Kang, actually confirmed it was intentional. She said Rumi's story is like she's coming out of the closet.
That powerful parallel was baked into the story's DNA from the very beginning.
But what made it connect so globally is that Rumi's inner demon could symbolize anything. It could be about mental health struggles, or trauma, or the experience of being biracial. The story tapped into these universal ideas, that the world isn't just good versus evil, that shame can be overcome, and that being different, a hybrid, is actually a strength.
Okay, so finally, let's talk about the real-world shockwaves. How did this fictional story manage to create such a huge, tangible movement out here in the real world?
Well, the speed of it all was just breathtaking. The film drops in June. By August, it's already the most watched film on Netflix ever. By September, it passes Squid Game to become the most watched thing of any kind. And by October, the soundtrack is certified platinum. It was an absolutely meteoric rise.
The movie basically ignited a whole new phase of the Korean wave. Tourism to Seoul skyrocketed to record highs. The characters and music started popping up everywhere, from sketches on Saturday Night Live to victory dances at the US Open. And a massive global fandom just exploded online with viral TikToks and cosplay. And what all this really points to is a fundamental shift. You know, the old Korean wave was about content made in South Korea that was then exported to the world. This new era, what some are calling the Next K era, is about global collaborations, teams from all over the world inspired by Korean culture. It's a whole new ballgame.
Which really just leaves us with one big question. K-Pop Demon Hunters started as just a movie idea. It ended up as a global cultural force that could actually boost economies and change trends. So when fiction has the power to rewrite reality on that kind of scale, what on earth comes next?